Hello, Internet. I'm Chrissy Duffy, and today I want to tell you all about my German teacher from Marietta High School. So I'm sure you all know by now the craziness I dealt with in my school life, but I want to write about and let's talk about some of the good teachers in my life. Don't worry, stories about the crummy teachers will come soon. So just keep an eye on my Storytime playlist, and it'll be right there once it's published. But for now, my German teacher. I apologize, I can't recall her name, and I doubt anyone I might still have contact with would tell me. Plus, a random Google search of the school staff list shows a different person and names that I honestly do not recall. So I shall call her Frau Robinson, after the Meet the Robinson Disney movie. And also, for those of you who do not know German, Frau is the German word for lady, woman, Mrs., madam, essentially that. It is older, female, and such. So that's what that means. And if she does come across this video, Guten Tag, Frau Robinson. I hope you're doing well. I did want to email you before writing the script to let you know how much you helped me during my time at your school, but it seemed impossible at the time of writing this script. At the time of recording this script, nearly a year later, it might be a little bit more possible, but I'm not that internet savvy. So I hope you don't mind me sharing all these little short stories, and yeah, thank you. So onward with the actual story. So the year was 2010. I decided to take German because I had tried to learn Spanish in middle school and I couldn't say a word of it properly, and the same with French. Plus, many members of my mom's side of the family are German, so it was kind of like exploring that part of my heritage for me. And the year before, I was at North Atlanta High School, and I took Chinese there. Fun fact, out of all the languages, German is the one that I know the most of. As for Chinese, I can count numbers and write the date. Spanish and French, I know at most maybe 5 words. And so yeah. Also, fun fact, in German class, she actually taught us the alphabet, versus, like, my Spanish and French, which did not. I don't know if I wrote that in here, I probably did. So during this time, I was living with my mom and brother in an apartment. We had power off and on throughout the school year, most of the time no power though. This was also the year that I lost Bronco, my toy cat, which if you want to hear about Bronco, I have a whole entire story from that. I will leave it in like a little iCard up above. School for me was like an escape. Mainly because home life was shit. Frau Robinson was super nice. The first few days, she actually taught us how to pronounce the alphabet in German. Here it is. A thing none of my other foreign language classes did. No wonder I suck at speaking those. Frau Robinson was a great teacher. Though I do need to make a correction. My Chinese teacher did teach us how to actually pronounce the characters. But yeah. Spanish and French, they just thought it's the same letters as English. You should be able to pronounce them. But in Spanish and French, the letters are pronounced differently. So the fact that you don't spend the first week actually teaching us how to pronounce the letters is weird. But yeah. Frau Robinson was a great teacher. She was very kind, and for rewards for doing well in class, we got to watch shows in German. Like, we watched a Harry Potter movie right before some long breaks at one point. I even brought in an episode of Sonic X and Sailor Moon in German for us to watch on a day that celebrated not just my birthday, but 2 other classmates' birthdays. And I animated the 2 of them waving as a gift for them. So I do know their names. And they're also, those animations are in my animation playlist. That's like the very bottom, because they were like some of the first animations I published. So it's under Gomez and Lonnie. So I hope y'all are healthy. and are doing well if you happen to see this video. And I'm also going to link the waving animations because they're in this script. So I'll put that in the description of this video, or when I post this script onto my Patreon, which I will make it free, or early access for patrons only. But fun fact, let me show you guys that I still know, before I read any more of this, let me show you that I do still know the German alphabet. It's A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V. Okay. I got lost. Hold on. Sometimes I get lost. U, V, W, X, and I know Z is like set or something, and I don't remember what Y is. So I almost remember it. I got lost at a point. Hopefully my dishwasher is fine. It made a weird sound. But hey, you don't use it, so you lose it. And I have not been using my alphabet, which is a shame. I need to practice more on Duolingo to catch up. But onward with the script I wrote. Frau Robinson was one of the few teachers who realized that I was struggling emotionally and at home, and she didn't make me feel uncomfortable or bad about it, which is a super plus, because like a lot of the other teachers who realized that I was struggling emotionally and at home, the way they went about handling it made me really uncomfortable and made me kind of clam up because of how I was raised and all that. So they didn't really handle it right. But Frau Robinson did make me feel comfortable and at ease enough to actually talk to her. She once had called me at the end of the school day and gave me like a bag of food because like I wasn't eating. Guys, like I was not eating at all throughout most of middle school and high school. Like, cause I wasn't given money for school lunch. And so you can't eat at school if you can't pay for it. And my mom wasn't aware until Frau Robinson like had signed me up for free lunch that we could get free lunch at all. And my mom refused to ask for help. And we'll get into that later. So like I was eating maybe once a day, and it was whatever my brother would bring home from work. And he worked at Checkers and Crystals. So imagine my brother coming home with a crappy mushroom Swiss burger from Checkers, or something from maybe Crystals, which I actually cannot stand Checkers burgers anymore. He would also, there were certain gas stations that sold donuts, and they would just have to throw them away. And so they would just put those donuts in clear plastic trash bags. And my brother was able to talk to them, so my brother would, every once in a while, would come home with a bag of donuts for us. Because legit, and that would be like the only thing I ate for the day. And my sister can attest to this. My sister complains and bitches about this all the time. My stomach used to turn inward. Like, it turned inward. It was very concerning for her. Every time I visited, she had like her own health body struggles that my mom probably also induced. And so she was given like diet supplement things because they just wanted her to eat versus me who didn't have food. So every time I visited, my sister, my papa, they would always give me food. Like my nanny would make sure I ate anytime like I was over at their house. But now, even several years later, as a grown adult, it is a struggle to eat more than once a day. A lot of times I'll forget. So like I'll go all day without eating. I'll just be in my room listening to music, whatever, or reading, and I won't eat because it's so hard to be hungry And then other times I'll be starving and I'll eat nothing but like junk food. Every so often, like, I crave vegetables or sushi. Recently, we found out the Publix, there's a Publix, it's a little bit farther away than the Publix that's closest to us. They sell sushi and poke bowls, and I like going to get a poke bowl. So it's really nice and delicious. In a poke bowl, it's got sticky rice based off the texture of it, sticky or sushi rice at the bottom. It's got lettuce, and then it's got normally pickled carrots, avocado, which I don't care for. It's got like some little crunchy bits in it, and it's got normally a meat and a bunch of sauces, and like there's some other stuff in there that I can't think of at the moment. But it's really delicious and hella filling. It is a bit expensive. It's like $10, $13, depending on which meat you get. I personally really like salmon and tuna, but it is something I do want to learn how to make on my own. I am eating slightly better. It's mainly, right now, I weigh 190, and I'm not feeling too healthy about it, because, like, walking is a little bit harder, so I need to incorporate exercise and all that. And my body is just not, it's holding on to all the fats, because I don't eat regularly and normally. So yeah. But back to the food that I was given by Frau Robinson. It was peanut butter. Like, it was like a jar of peanut butter, and it was some crackers. And that, it meant a lot to me. She also gave me like a bag of clothes around my birthday, which is in May. And I think both were given to me around the same time. But I could be, like, meshing those two memories together because they're of similar things. So who knows? But I do remember walking to my mom's car with them, and my mom being pissed. She went on, like, this long rant about how she didn't need handouts and everything was just fine. And she acted like I had done something horribly wrong, like it was my fault that my teacher gave me food because I wasn't eating lunch because I couldn't afford it. I don't remember, like, all the words because it's been years. Plus, when people yell at me, I shut down completely most of the time. So I just hear sound and a tone, and I can't comprehend the words whatsoever. And that left me with this lovely thing called trauma. And the inability to ask for help whatsoever most of the time. Thanks, Mom! I'll just add this to the list of reasons why I don't like calling you often. I did, however, like, appreciate the peanut butter and crackers, and they were a lovely snack and meal, so thank you, Frau Robinson. It was very kind of you, despite my mom being a bitch about it. Now, on to the clothes that Frau Robinson gave me. I didn't change clothes often that year. 1, I wasn't bathing, so why change clothes when I was already dirty? 2, we had no power, and thus no way to warm the frigid cold water and home for me to bathe and or shower. So yeah, I wasn't about to deal with that, especially when I'm prone to getting sick anyway, and was constantly cold. I'll keep my body heat. Thank you very much. So I mainly wore a pair of sneakers that at the end of the year were coming apart. And I remember, I don't know if these were the shoes like I wore over to my dad's house where like he was talking about how he needed to replace his shoes because like the beginning sole was about to come off, and I showed him how my sole was coming off worse. And he was very shocked, and I think it's because he was paying a lot of money in child support. And I don't know where any of that fucking money went. I don't know what it went to, what it was used on. I don't know. But yeah. So I wore a pair of sneakers that damn near came apart at the end of the year. A pair of jeans that had ripped at the knees and was covered in like random pin scribbles. And for a top, I wore layers in the winter. So it was like 2 shirts, a sweater, and a jacket. And in the summer, it was my jacket and either 1 t-shirt or 2, depending on the temperature in the morning. I didn't deviate much from this uniform, and honestly, I don't deviate much now. But in the bag of clothes Frau Robinson had gifted me, there was this really nice green dress. It was very pretty. I think there might have been a pair of dress shoes in there too. I remember because for my 16th birthday, I had the weekend with my dad and my sister. And I had donated my hair for the first time. And that's a whole story onto itself. But the Monday after the weekend, my hair was cut short, styled in a pixie cut. I wore that green dress she gave me and a pair of black dress shoes. And those black dress shoes were either the ones she gave me, or I had borrowed those shoes from my sister. And that might have been she just didn't have course that next 2 weeks if she let me borrow her shoes. But I can't recall for sure. It was probably like the first time as a teenager or at any time that I actually felt pretty. And I was very happy that day. I remember we had a nice conversation because before class started. And one classmate didn't recognize me and actually thought I was a teacher, which was very funny. I don't recall what we spoke about, but I do remember it being very nice. Frau Robinson also made it where I would be able to go to this German conference camp, which was like a weekend trip where we went to a campground with other schools. We did competitions and games and such. I don't remember like how much it cost, but Frau Robinson said all I had to do was get my mom to sign off on it. I don't know how I got my mom to sign off on it. I guess she saw it was a school thing and she didn't have to pay, so she signed. I remember driving down what I believe was Salem Road or Old Salem Road, and the bus stopped and we were able to go get food. I only had a $5 bill, so I went to Wendy's and got something like off the dollar menu. I believe it was before they had that $4 lunch bag thing, but I'm not quite sure. One girl went to a restaurant and saw deer meat on the menu and was too afraid to order anything other than the lemonade, which was huge, and some rice. Like, this lemonade was larger than her head. And it was like the regular size one. And we were all laughing about it. So yeah. I just remember being excited because we drove through like a part of Conyers where my dad lived. So I knew like some of the landmarks and no one else seemed to. And so that was kind of like nice to actually look out the car window and actually kind of recognize where I am, since I have a horrible sense of direction. But the camp was nice. The boys were in one building and the girls in another. I got a lower bunk bed. I believe this was before my 16th birthday, because I believe I had Bronco with me during this time. But my memory could be hazy. The bathroom was attached to where we slept. There was like a row of sinks where you first entered. To the left was a row of like toilet stalls, and to the right was a row of shower stalls that like just had like this kind of curtain. They were like very thin. I remember I took like my clothes, towel, washcloth, and 2 bottles with me. I know one was shampoo, but I'm not sure if the other was body wash or conditioner. I know they were bought at the dollar store. I'm not sure if I just used the shampoo with soap or whatever, because like I had done that before. So I don't often use conditioner, so I feel like the second bottle was most likely body wash, but who knows, it could have been conditioner. My mom bought pretty much what the fuck ever for me and gave me no choice. I do remember having like difficulty sleeping, since like it was my first night in like my whole life where I didn't have to share a room with my mom or my sister. And so like it was really weird not having either of them in the room that I was sleeping in for my first time in my whole entire life. And I was like, it was before my 16th birthday. I remember now. It was in Easter. So it was like a month or 2 before. So I was still 15. So in 15 years of my life, I had always had to share my room and had someone else sleeping in the room with me. So it was like super weird to, one, there's a whole bunch of strangers around me. Like people I knew from my class, but I wasn't super close with. But yeah. So I do remember it being weird and hard for me to get to sleep. I do recall Frau Robinson asking me in, like, the morning when we had to gather for first day orientation if the hot water was nice, and I remember answering yes. I don't remember, like, all the activities, like, there were several offered. I know we sang a song called Sonnenbrille by Die Ärzte and performed some kind of dance with it. I did an activity where, like, I poked a hole in an egg to empty it of the yolk and painted it with, like, some watercolor. So due to that activity, I think this camp took place in Easter, which it did, yeah. That was, while writing this, I was remembering more and more. So you'll see where I, like, correct things. I'm not reading, and it's like, oh yeah, I added it here. So this was around March or April. I participated in a German spelling bee. It was a fun and a lot easier in English. And the reason it's a lot easier in English is because in German, you pronounce every single letter. There's not going to be really many silent letters. So yeah. So, like, I would write the words as I was spelling them on my leg to help me visualize the word. And I don't remember if, like, I placed or not, but I did get a certificate for it, which I don't think I have currently. I might. It might be, like, in my German notes, which I still have somewhere in this house. There were a few other activities we did, but I can't, like, recall them all. It was very fun and nice, though, especially since I remember it fondly so many years later. Like, I do remember it being a nice and fun time and really enjoying it. So I mainly remember, like, the feeling I had there. So yeah. Frau Robinson, like, made those things happen after all. I know the school didn't just waive a trip fee. I'm pretty sure that Frau Robinson most likely paid for me to go. And the fact that she was kind enough to take money out of her own pocket and get me food, even though it was, like, a few boxes of crackers and, like, a jar of peanut butter. It was something. I'm not sure if she bought the clothes or if they were just hand-me-downs, but they were, like, really nice. And I remember the green dress very fondly. And Frau Robinson was a really kind lady. She took the time to care, but not be pushy or to make me uncomfortable about it like other teachers before had done. But I think we need more teachers like her. She really did make my experience in the school more bearable and comfortable. Because while school for me was like an escape from my not so great home life with my mom, it wasn't always easy with the other students there who had no clue what was going on in my life. So, yeah. I'm not sure if Frau Robinson still teaches, if she's moved to another county, state, even country. But it was nice having her as a teacher, so thank you for that, for all you did for me, and for all you did for those other students that you had. And we're officially 3 pages in this document now. I began this script sometime in 2021, and, like, legit, here it is, a year later, finally being finished at 3 a.m., and making me cry as I remember these events. Yeah, I was crying while I was writing this, and I almost shed some tears while reading this, because I am, like, overly emotional, and that's fine. But yeah, these are just some of the stories, like, I remember about Frau Robinson, who was a great, awesome teacher. So yeah. So who were good teachers that you had in school? Feel free to share those stories in the comment section down below. As always, thank you very much for watching the video, for liking, commenting, all that good stuff. So yeah, do all the things if you would be so kind. Indicate to the algorithm overlords that you like my content and would like to see more of it. So yeah. And also thank you very much to my Patreon and Ko-fi supporters for helping support me making videos like this and others. So thank you, Diamond Glass and Axe11154. So yeah, thank you all very much. Remember to drink water. Bye bye!